Hey everybody, welcome back. This is a video response to my Minneapolis-Moline X231 Part 40 Shift Rails and Forks What Would You Do scenario. I want to thank you guys for all the responses. We're like north of 360 of them now. You certainly do love lending your opinion, and I appreciate that. Whole lot of votes for option 3, making a new fork, and honestly I've made the decision that's what I'm going to do, but I want to kind of break down my decision and discuss some of the responses that I had that kind of went into the decision making process, and maybe answer some of your guys' questions to boot. So let's get into it. So I want to lead off with better explaining what my lug offset difference is on the production fork versus the prototype. And I didn't really explain this very well or in depth enough in the first video. So I had a lot of responses saying, well, it would be really easy, just use the production fork, drill a new roll pin hole to move that thing forward, align the lug with the rest of the prototype ones, boom, you're done. The reason why I cannot do that is because the lug on the production fork is about a 1/4 inch further back from the fork end that engages the gear. So I'll give you guys a side-by-side comparison, prototype to production. If we line up the ends of the fork that engage with the gear, you can see the lug offset difference between the two. In other words, about a 1/4 inch. So if we just drilled a new roll pin hole in the shaft to relocate this fork a 1/4 inch further forward, we've also relocated the sliding gear that it manipulates, which would mean we would not only lose a 1/4 inch of mesh into the upper third gear that's behind it, which we only have about 3/8 to deal with anyway, but we would also be a 1/4 inch too much travel on the front, and the gear would bottom out on that front bearing long before the detent ball would drop into the slot to hold it in place. So the production fork unmodified is not an option. And I also had a few other responses asking why I can't just use all production forks. If I used all production forks have that lug at the same 1/4 inch greater offset to the rest of the assembly as the 231 does here. So that would also mean I would have to replace the entire shifter top and quadrant to match it. We have the production top with the quadrant here and the prototype top with its quadrant there, and you can even see we have a bit of an offset between those two gates, and I really cannot just change the gates from one top to another because of how much more caged in the prototype one is here as opposed to the production one that has a little bit more adjustability on that shaft. So it's a deal where if I replace one production piece fork-wise in this transmission, you're going to have to replace all the rest of the production pieces all the way out onto the shifter top, and I'd really like to avoid going that route as well. And now to talk about the shift rails. I've got the prototype one here that's been ground and brazed and is bent and it's worn all over. I want to go to a comment left by Scott Curda. He says, "Isn't the point of a prototype that the builders were testing theories and then improving on the design and then test those?" Absolutely. He goes on to say, "You said and are leaning toward making a new steel fork." Yes. "Consider making a new rail as well, taking into consideration where the past builders were grinding and brazing to properly locate the shift point. In the spirit of prototyping, build the next iteration of this shift rod / fork assembly, learning from past attempts." Scott, thank you for the comment. It's like a picture, it's worth 1,000 words. You kind of led me right into where I was going with this next. Actually, these grind marks and this brazing, I really don't think were the original builders. This screams down home on the farm. We're having troubles, and how are we going to solve those problems without spending any money at all? So I really don't believe the builders were the ones that were trying to modify this third gear detent spot. I think it was after they had already worn the rail well past out on this side, then they flipped it 180 and they wore it well past out over here, and between excessive slop in the shifter quadrant and loose and worn detent grooves, I'm pretty sure they were just trying to patch this up and trying to further engage that third gear, that sliding gear, into the upper third gear that was behind it. And the more I thought about that, the more I went back to the differences between the prototype shift rail and the production shift rail. Trying not to get too long-winded here, but if you compare them side by side and zero out the neutral detent slots, you can see the prototype rail had a little bit further throw travel-wise to get into third, and then consequently not quite as much distance to get into second. So third would have been a little bit more travel back, and then second would have been not quite so much forward as compared to the production one. So what that means is with the prototype rail, they kept the sliding gear just a little bit further away from the upper third gear that's behind it. So you had a little bit more travel to get it back into the one behind it for third gear, but then you also drifted further forward to get back to the neutral spot, and then didn't have quite so much ground to cover to engage with the lower second gear. Whereas the difference in the slots on the production shaft show that in a production tractor, they chose to run the sliding gear a lot closer to the upper third gear behind it, so that they didn't have to cover quite as much ground to engage it into that upper third gear, but then had a lot more ground to cover to get up into second. So there is a definite difference in the positioning of the sliding gear between the prototype setup and production, and that also makes me think about my shifter quadrants, if I can afford to use that production shift rail that requires such a long throw to get up into second, and if I'm going to be able to fully engage that detent ball in the slot with the prototype shifter if I use that rail. So to make a very long story short, my plan is to fabricate a new 2-3 fork, and I will reevaluate what I want to do with the rails later. Basically, I got to get that fork made, and then I will see how I can match it up with the good production rail, and if my prototype shifter top can handle that increased amount of throw to get into second gear. Had another interesting comment I want to cover from Kinsor Medleys. He says, I was just wondering, how did those shift forks get so beat up? I mean, you can see hammer, punch, chisel, whatever marks on them. Any ideas? This tractor had a very rough life when it was on the farm. The repairs that I can see were done while it was still down at the R&D shop with Minneapolis-Moline were done with a pretty good level of competency, but there were a lot of hammers, chisels, and punches used back on the farm, and there are a lot more parts and pieces that you're going to see as I progress on that have the same types of scars from the past on them. And to finish things off, I'll go to a comment left by Tom Jones. Tom says, drag it out back, dig a hole, and push it in. Just kidding, make a new fork. Tom, don't think that hasn't crossed my mind. I mean, there hasn't been a single part of this tractor that I could just clean up, put together, and it was good. Something has always been broken, something has always been horrendously worn, something has always been really not right, and that trend continues to this day. Believe me, it does get old. But anyway, everyone, thank you again for the responses. It's nice to know that you guys are paying attention to what I'm putting on here, and if I ask a question, I'm going to have answers. So again, I appreciate that. And right, wrong, or otherwise, I'm going to try and make a new fork. My plan is to pattern it right off of the old prototype one. I do like the thought of putting an extra support gusset in there where that prototype one broke, but as far as the shift rails go, I'm going to cross that bridge when I get there. First thing I need to do is get a new fork made and see what I need to do after that with those rails. Probably going to have to build some fixtures or make some tools to get tight enough bends on it and keep my offsets correct so that everything will still line up and will still work, and that might take some time, but I'm going to get going on that. And guys, thanks for watching. Tune in again.